You have released your Q1 update this morning, and it would appear that the pet market and pet ownership generally is in good health.
Absolutely, there's some really encouraging signs of increased pet ownership. So things like web searches, as people are looking for puppy and kittens, we saw a significant rise as we came into COVID. But we've also seen lots of anecdotal evidence for increased demand for both new and adopted pets. And I think really you've got to look behind this to see why. And I think that reflects a step change in more people working from home, which of course is likely to continue. So having a pet as part of your family, I think, has become increasingly more realistic for people who previously couldn't because of their working responsibilities. And we also know that pets through COVID have provided a really important role in terms of companionship. In fact, actually in the early days, it's one of the very few reasons you were allowed out the house if you could actually go and walk a dog. But I think the key thing is new pet ownership is generally the best proxy for us for our longer term growth, because the average cat or dog will live between 12 and 20 years. So when we see increased levels of ownership, it gives us a really good read that actually the pet market is in good health and is likely to continue to grow. I think the big caveat to that, of course, is whilst the pet market is not immune to economic cycles, but pets still do need feeding, they need loving, and they are relatively low cost. So I think everything we're seeing, we feel positive about, but obviously we are in relatively uncertain times.
Second question is, you have also laid out your plans to make a big investment in your omni-channel business over the next few years. Why is that such an important part of your strategy, and what will this investment bring?
Yeah. Well, we believe the winning customer proposition is one that makes pet care really easy, very convenient, really rewarding, and being very supportive. So it's not just about online or bricks and mortar. It's really about empowering the customer to shop in a way that makes it just that easy and convenient. So our investment today, and by the way, this is the biggest investment we've ever made as a single investment, will deliver a facility that not only supports our future growth, but the key thing is it gives us flexibility. It gives us flexibility to respond to changes in demand, flexibility to respond to a changing consumer, and clearly do that very efficiently and very profitably, because it's going to be all under one roof. So for us, a strong omni-channel business needs to be really powered by a friendly front end, but it needs to be efficient, modern, and very responsive. And our new facility is 670,000 square feet. And to put that into context, it's about the size of 9 football pitches. It's pretty big. It will also bring the latest in logistics to support our network of 450 stores. And what it allows us to do is make sure that we can respond really quickly and make sure we provide our customers with more choice, greater convenience on how they receive their products, either from 1 hour click and collect from our stores or indeed same day or next day delivery. So it's a really important investment. And ultimately, a distribution centre is your heart and lungs of the business. And for us, this is in some respects a transplant, but it's definitely going to give us a new lease of life as we build our business for the future.
You clearly have a large database of over 5.6 million engaged shoppers, which must give you considerable insights into customer behaviour. How do you use data and analytics to inform decision-making and drive growth through your business?
You're absolutely right. Our database gives us significant insight into a large proportion of the pet-owning population of the UK. We have significant levels of sign-up, about 5.6 million active VIP users in our database. Now, we've been using customer data for quite some time, but we've been working really with third parties, and we recognise the importance of this in terms of being proprietary data and how it could really power organisations. So the first thing we've been doing is by bringing that in-house. And to do that properly, we've invested very heavily in building a team of 35 people under the leadership of a chief data officer as we migrate all our data from our vets, our retail, and our loyalty programs to one place. And the powerful thing is it gives us a single view of the customer, and that is super powerful. And I think you could get all very geeky about data, but I think there's a really simple way to think about it, and it's this, which is customer data allows me to understand my customers better than my competitors do. And in doing so, it allows me to better serve my customers by knowing more about them, knowing more about their pets. And we have an awful lot of knowledge about pets, their life cycles, and what customers are likely to do. And when you marry the two together, it allows you to be very efficient in predicting what people are going to do and serve things up which are very unique to them. At its very simple level, Amazon may well know that you've got a dog, but we know that you've got a dog, it's a beagle, He's 2 years old. He's called Henry. He eats this type of food, and these are the conditions that he's had at the vet. And that allows us to really personalize that experience down to that pet owner. And we think personalization is absolutely crucial. Now, we've been working on this for some time, and we're already up and running. But there's 3 areas that will really benefit us this year. The first thing is, by having all our customer information, it allows us to build a really good customer segmentation model, which allows us to better understand customer behavior, but more importantly, model their future behavior. Secondly, using this model, and we'll start to do that from this autumn, it means that in our CRM programs, we can drive improved customer spend by very targeted communications, timely and relevant, and also means it's very efficient. So we don't waste our promotional spend or our marketing spend. It means you get really high efficiency. And then finally, in building a single view of customers, it allows us to really start to combine products and services from across the group to give customers what they need to improve their pet care with their pet. And we call it pet care plans. So in other words, these are subscription services that change the way customers interact with us to create repeatable revenue opportunities. Now, we already have 900,000 customers on some form of subscription plan, which for a retailer, I think many people listening today would be surprised. But we think this is a really important part of our future business. And most importantly, I think in developing subscriptions, what we've been able to do is make pet care really easy. So, for example, you need to flea your dog every 4 weeks. Fleas isn't the most interesting or exciting of subjects, but for customers, it's one of those things they forget to do. So by making it really easy, we've been able to create significant value streams from. So for us, data connecting with customer behavior creates opportunity, and from opportunity, we create revenue.
You have previously referred to pets at home as an ecosystem of products and services. What do you mean by that, and how does that allow you to differentiate yourself from your competitors?
Quite simply, nobody has the breadth of capabilities that we have covering all the areas of pet ownership, from buying a pet to the products that we sell, to veterinary services, grooming, and even things like dog walking and boarding, and we combine that with our expertise. So many of our competitors have some element of this, but nobody can replicate it across the whole piece. And for us, it's our ability to combine those capabilities in a way that makes pet care really easy, convenient, rewarding, and supportive for our customers that really makes it special. And that's, we know, really matters to a pet owner. So when I describe our ecosystem, I'm describing how we knit things together to make it easy for customers. And in doing so, what we find is not only do we create value for customers by making it easy and convenient, but we also create value for us and in turn our shareholders, because it allows us to access a significantly greater part of customer spend. Because very simply, if we look at how much customers spend on products, they will spend about £150 a year. But when you look at their spend across their entire ecosystem of spend in pet for a dog owner, it's more like £1,200 to £1,300. So it allows us to access a much richer stream of revenue from customers. But of course, it works really well for customers because we've just been able to join up to give you the time to spend more time with your pet and enjoy your pet. And that's exactly why you signed up to be a pet owner in the first place.
A lot of our viewers will be more familiar with the retail side of your business, less so with the vets business. Can you briefly explain the dynamics of your vet group and the main opportunities for growth?
Sure. Well, very simply, at its basic level, every pet owner needs a vet, like every human needs a doctor. And of course, that's a great place to start. But our vet business is different, and that difference lies in the model. It's not a company-owned structure where vets are employees. It's a partnership where the vet is our partner and we jointly own the business. And as a consequence, we join together two great forces. Vets are in control of their clinical freedom and judgment, allowing them to be great clinicians, and that's why they enter the profession. But it's backed up by the largest pet care company in the UK, and that allows us to provide professional services of finance, IT, marketing, accounting, HR. Put it bluntly, all the things a vet doesn't want to do and actually isn't very good at. That's where we bring our skills. So it's a really great combination. Now, we earn a fee based upon sales for those professional services. So the partner invests with their own cash, and we facilitate a bank loan, as well as match the partner's initial investment. And so for Pets at Home, it's a really capital light way with the risk being shared between us and the partner. And the partner benefits from having access to our 5.6 million VIP owners, our 20 years expertise of operating this model, And history shows it's a really magical combination, because quite simply, our vets have skin in the game. They have an incentive to want to grow their business. And we have proven over the years that that actually is a winning formula. And I think if we look through COVID, what we've seen is our vet partners, because it's their business, have actually returned their business back to normality, probably faster than most company-owned structures. Now, as every one of our practices starts from scratch, literally with no clients whatsoever, it means two things. Firstly, all our practices open as brand new, which makes them the most modern in the UK. We're open 7 days a week, and we're located inside pet stores, so we're terribly convenient and terribly accessible for consumers, which is great. But it does take quite a long time for vets to become really mature. And by mature, what we mean, we don't mean that the growth plateaus, it means they've built up a substantial customer base. And therefore, we have a lot of maturity left in our business. And even then, when our mature practices get to that point of maturity, and what we mean is that they're debt-free and they're taking dividends, they continue to grow typically at twice the rate of the underlying market. And we think that's down to the owner-driver model. And as many of our practices opened in the last 5 years, the exciting thing about our business is still the maturity left in the business from those practices which are still yet to mature, which should release significant cash flow for our business and significant dividends for our partners.
Finally, there has been an increasing focus on responsible corporate citizenship, not least through the COVID crisis. Could you please outline what initiatives you are focusing on as a responsible retailer?
Absolutely. Well, we've always believed that the best businesses serve many stakeholders, and you need to focus on the value you create for all of those stakeholders whilst investing in supporting the communities in which we operate. And we've done this for many years, for 30 years. And of course, with having 450 stores and 440 practices, we're very much in the heart of those communities. So we focus on three things. We focus on the 3 Ps: pets, people, and planet. Now, as very passionate pet owners ourselves, we believe in helping the pets who are less fortunate than our own. And last year alone, we raised £5 million supporting 800 charities. And we did this through fundraising and through our VIP loyalty scheme. So basically, every time a customer shops and swipes their card, their donation goes to their favourite and chosen charity. Through our people, we create and deliver world-class pet care. And our values and behaviours, we believe, are what make us different. You can copy many things about organisations, but the one thing you can't copy is their culture. And we believe culture is very important and underpins our values and our behaviours. So we invest very heavily in our people. And that results in high levels of engagement. In fact, our engagement amongst our colleagues is 83%, which is very high for most businesses. In retail, that's exceptionally high. Last year, just over 4,000 of our colleagues completed training and development programs, and we created over 250 new apprenticeships in our business. Now, we've recognised that coronavirus has been a real challenge for our colleagues, not because they've been impacted by what we've done, but many of their families have been impacted. So this year, as part of all the things we did, one of the things which actually I think was one of the most powerful things we did, we made available a £1 million crisis fund for our colleagues. And already 300 applications have been made from that. And in the main, it's where their families, maybe one of their family members has lost their job and they've struggled to meet their outgoings. So we've been there to support, and we're very proud of doing that. And then finally, we take the impact we have on the planet really seriously, and we're focusing on how we minimize our environmental impact. And we've got a series of objectives that we're focused on in doing so. So some of the obvious things like packaging, our ambition is 100% of our packaging will be recyclable or compostable by 2025. Today, it is already as high as 75%, but there's more work to be done. We currently don't send any waste to landfill at all. Instead, we have waste and recycling facilities embedded into our operations. We became carbon neutral in 2017, and we already source renewable green electricity. And we're very focused on using less electricity, because obviously we know using less energy is both environmentally and economically sound. And we actually reduced our energy consumption last year by just under 2% as a consequence of programs such as rolling out LED lighting across our entire business. So we recognise, like many businesses, there's so much more work to be done, but we think this is the cornerstone of being a good business. And that's why we're very passionate as much about the things we do for our pets, our people, and the planet, as well as we are in terms of running a good, commercially sound organisation.